All right. As I was explaining before now, I want to just hit the point at this time. I was on the subject crossing River Niger, a must do. And I said that I am addressing the heirs of salvation at this time. All of the people who are supposed to be expressly immortalized, all of the people who are supposed to hear the voice of the seventh angel, and or who are supposed to track the very person, that person that will have the message, that is the message that can expressly immortalize all of the people that followed him, and followed him obediently, diligently, doing what was supposed to be done, doing what is said to be done. Amongst the key of them, for instance, aside the ordinances that must be performed, like baptism the right way, like the tithing, like paying of first fruits, also assimilation of Eucharistic revelations, meditating in the messages that are Eucharist or Eucharistic, and so on. Now, another must do is this, that in visiting or coming to that particular place that the prophet is telling the global community of Christians, of pure hominids, who are also in the right environment, that's in the right worship, that is, who are Christians, please. That's what I mean, who are Christians. That you should come to Africa, West Africa, Nigeria, to be precise, and then Anambra State, to be much more precise. That is to say, the southeastern side of Nigeria, the very place that is called Agolo Uzibo. Prophet said that the God of creation, amongst what he did in this side of the earth, is that with the material for the coupling of the physical body of the principal ancestors of the mankind race, and he made out of that particular material, he called it riba. He said that riba is that which makes the rib, and that the rib is what God went for in the body of Father Adam, physical body of Father Adam, that was supernatural, when he needed to make the physical body of Mother Eve. And that this will help you to know why he called that other one riba, and also how that the building material for that temple of the Holy Spirit of Adam, His Eminence, of the Holy Spirit of Mother Eve, is not clay. That clay is not a genetic material. That what will help you is that God went for for rib in the body of Father Adam, physical body of Father Adam. And the prophet said that the rib there does not just mean that bone you know today to be rib, because the physical body in question is the prototype image, the perfect body, the body that is that's the body in its super size, in its perfect size, in its wholesome size. I mean, the physical body in transfiguration, every body transforms to, is conformed to. Even resurrectees in transfiguration must go, that must take after that particular anatomy and size, okay? So the prophet said that the very riba that God made out of that riba, 12 most precious stones, 12 different kinds of precious stones. But then most precious in the sense that it's celestial precious stones that we are talking about here. And that is also one of the reasons, what is also defining how that the heavens world of the mankind race is a heavens world of 12 tribes. It's a heavens world that has 12 gates into 12 cities, and so on. And that also following the stellar / constellation order, and above it, that the son of that God gave birth to a son, and then the son, that spirit being, he's the spirit being of the principal ancestor of the mankind race, okay, and that is an only begotten son, and that person gave birth to 3. This is just going by male only now, male, okay. That person gave birth to 3. That is 3 also of his own sons. These are the Elijahs of the kingdom. apart from the person producing his female model kind, the spirit being of his, okay, which is the Holy Spirit of Mother Eve. Prophet said that also that three, who are the Elijahs, also apart from also producing their own female versions, that they also gave birth to 444 each of also spirit beings, spirit sons. And this that 444 each made up the patriarchs. That is the founding fathers of the very 12 tribes. And that why that 12 were marshaled, and that from there, that was the order of the patriarchs, the patriarchal order. And then when you now include their, when they produced their own female model types, they became 24. If you put that female, so that order, in fact, that was what was referred to in a certain place in Revelation chapters, and these was like 24 elders, the 24 elders. And this thing they use today, that they call this thing they refer to as, for instance, the signs of zodiac, and has those things that they are talking about, because fallen angels, impure angels, delved into certain signs they saw, and saw that there were 12 of them, and tried to give them signs, give animal symbols of them, and so on. Okay, because Prophet Adam also touched things, and just like Prophet at the time has taught you, that the animal symbol, for instance, for the seraphim, happened to be the serpent. The animal symbol, simple means that's in the earth here. Animal symbol for like the not just seraphim, seraphim, cherubim, the dragon. The animal symbol for like impure hominid angel turned humans, impure hominid angels, if they come into this earth, that the animal symbol for them happen to be the wolves. Wolves, W-O-L-V-E-S, wolves, you see. So, and then they have those things they do say, mention those things like Scorpio and so on. You say, but the real revelation is with us. That's my point. The real revelation, which has to do with your ancestral lineage, your true ancestral lineage. The family tree of the mankind race is with the ark, okay? And this is not about the genealogy that has to do with the blood. This is one thing that if that geographical Israel, if they had understood this, they would not have made terrible mistakes that they made, that built a lot of enemies around them. Even like neighborhood countries, you know, because anybody that understood those things that they said, pointing to Abraham, that was amongst the promises that God gave and pronounced on the very Abraham, and that anywhere their feet can touch is theirs, something like that, you know, and that God came to even commend him for the slaughter of many kings, and so like they are the legitimate, the most profound when it comes to inheriting the earth. That one of the names that God called the very Abraham is the possessor of heaven and earth, and so on. So they didn't really get this right. If they had gotten it right, believe you me, I'm telling you the truth, even they themselves will repent in dust and ashes. That is, they will really, really like scream. I'm telling you. This beauty, so Lucifer, our Luciferians cashed into it, took advantage of that. The likes of Idi Amin of Uganda has things he said when he was here. The likes, is there Ahmadinejad or so? Iran, Iraq, name them. Some of them, let me leave this, please. My point is this, that there are things that the prophet is explaining today. At this time, that anybody who listens very well and then gets to this point, this aspect that has to do with the Holy Land, will also see that this is serious, very, very serious. Which place will anyone that would have thought that if there should be any place in the earth here to be called the Holy Land when it comes to Christians, then you talk about Nazareth, you talk about, but then the prophet has explained the whole lot, and that Jesus of Nazareth's preeminence is the God in an incarnate manifestation. So that birth lied about his true identity, that he came in the shoes of the Son of God, so that he will bail the mankind, Adam, his eminence, who paid a certain price for procreation, for the procreation of the mankind race. That was the cost price for procreation. What Jesus Christ came to pay happened to be the bail price. That is simply pointing to him propitiating, or in fact, I think the best is to substitute for him. Sub means smaller, which was the reason he said that the least in the kingdom is greater than John, and which many also didn't understand. It was such a proverb. So the prophet is saying that in the Trinity, what Jesus is preeminent, is God the Son, and that God the Son is the God in a pro-substantiated state. Is the same God. He's the same God. They are co-eternal. He's not. He's the same God. He's not an offspring of the God. That the Son of God is different from God the Son, and so on. Okay? And that God the Son's size was what predetermined the size of the Son of God. And that the Son was truly given birth to. It's called super bio. There, male is who gives birth, not the female. And the place that that baby body forms, the spirit body of the person, not physical body, forms, is in the bowel of the spirit being. Look at the word bore and then well. Just look at that. Today there's what they call borehole. Borehole. It's still water they are looking for. Look at the word bore well. Well. Jesus Christ was beside a well of water. And the woman there and was talking to the woman about something. You see. So the bore, that's where that formed in the spirit being. You see. And this body was called waterborne kind. I mean, the very mortal body was called waterborne kind. You see, Jesus Christ was talking about the kind that is not this liquid water. The water of life and so on. So the aspect of the scientific explanations, detailed explanations, that is explanations that will help you to understand these things that we are lacking seriously in the Bible, are the reason for the mysteries, are the reason for many things in the Bible that sounds mysterious. And anything that's mysterious to you or that remains mysterious to you, it is the kind that is a must know, that you must understand, my dear, it is a serious hindrance when it comes to your express immortalization. So when words like my people suffer defeat due to lack of knowledge, that's one of the reasons. People thought it's just about, like being poor, being crushed. They didn't know that the main thing there is the fact that if you, please let me leave this and go straight to the point. Okay? This is the kind that can make me talk and talk. I just want to round up the service. The very reason for crossing River Niger. What do I mean? Crossing River Niger, a must do. You see, what has to do with the Holy Land? Why the land was called holy has nothing to do with the people of that land being holy people. Has nothing to do with people of that land being. Every child of the kingdom is a pure hominid. Every pure hominid that belongs to the mankind race is a pure hominid. You can see. Okay? They are all pure hominids. And pure hominids are in different parts of this earth. They are in different parts of this earth. So it's not just about people now. It's about geographical location, about place. There is the place that God came to. And then stood on the ground of that place, did a certain thing, which was what I was explaining then. That the river was in his palm, in his hand. That's what happened. That's what, you see this aspect of, for instance, yeast being added into flour. And then the flour starts increasing. And that was called leavened. While the one that has no yeast and was that way was called unleavened. And then that one that was called unleavened was now the one they called Eucharist, as in what can symbolically represent Eucharist. And then what can be put in your mouth, and you eat without chewing. And that was doing what Jesus said when he said, except you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life in you. They got it badly wrong. Badly, terribly wrong. What Jesus said anyway is, except you eat that which is, or that substance which has my genetic information, you have no everlasting life cell system in your body. Okay? So the mother harlot got it wrong. Anyway, the oracle is not with them. So what do you expect? And so on. So, it was Rome that hijacked the church. And so Paul played serious role to help them achieve that. And the very woman that the beast lent her back to, the very woman that the beast borrowed its back, simply means that the beast supported. When you say like somebody soliciting for support, you see. So the church was hijacked, but then there is the way it was done. So the beast, who is not actually is not a friend to anybody in the mankind race, is only using whatever is available in pursuing its goal or the dream of Lucifer. and cohorts. So what I'm trying to say here is that it was Rome that did. How can Rome be the people that has the oracle with them? Look at that. Why wouldn't it even be that very Israel? Oh, that should Israel actually rejected that message. So he now came to Rome, right? That was why it was now, I mean, from Rome he went Catholic. They didn't explain that well. They didn't explain that well. And that didn't take God unawares. So you should understand the prophecies in Daniel. Jesus promised. So that was one of the reasons he said that. The whosoever I read about the abomination that causes desolation, spoken of in the book of Daniel, let him understand. You must understand that very well. There was a lot written. Even the very mass was mentioned there. Daily mass. It was written there as daily sacrifice. Daily sacrifice. That word sacrifice in Igbo language means aja. Aja is the same meaning with mass. Mass there was a kind of word that you will not easily, because it doesn't think it is that. Because you can just like I mean, you know, say mass, M-A-S-S. You may not easily think mass means sacrifice. That's my point. Just like when you say mass production, you see, just simply pointing to something that was produced in mass, you know, in a large, quantity or format. You see, but that was not what that mass meant. Yet it's still M-A-S-S. But that mass that happened daily, many also didn't know, except people that are in the very church. They didn't know that on daily basis, they do mass. I mean, their service. So it's the daily sacrifice written in the book of Daniel. You see. So, like I was saying, what makes a place holy, what makes the Holy Land is what the God of creation himself, who after hanging the planets on air, goes into the very planets to carry out infrastructure or carry out more works of creation. In the mode of operation called the God the Son mode of operation. So the God the Father mode of operation is the mode of operation that God uses to hang the planet. Because in that mode of operation, that is the God in his wholesome size. The God in his wholesome size, or in God the Father dwells the fullness of the Godhead bodily. When they said that it was in Jesus Christ's preeminence, they didn't even know the actual definition of the Trinity. Jesus' preeminence is a fraction of the God in his fullness. And Jesus' preeminence is just like when he said, "He that has seen me has seen the Father." It was just like a little explanation of these explanations. Okay. What they wrote as, "In my Father's house, there are many mansions." What he said was, "In my fatherhood state." Look at what state and then mansions. State. You can see that state can go for a place. State can go for a place like so state. You see, also can go for a state of being. In my fatherhood state, he now said, I have many mansions. So the Father is the greater I. They wrote, the Father is greater than I, or is greater than me, something like that, and so on. He is the God in an incarnate manifestation. That was why the Eloi, Eloi. Eloi, Eloi. What does that mean? My Father, my Father. No. It means, my God, my God. You see, my God, my God. Why? That was the reason. He wouldn't say my Father, my Father. Eloi. Compare that to Eli. A-E-L-I. Eli. Somebody was bearing Eli a certain time. That has Hophini and Phinehas. That was an adumbration of the man in the Vatican. The person that is claiming to sit on the seat of God. You see, you should understand these things, my dear. And something happened to him because of the fact that it is the Son of God that in the earth here can be like that person that is a vicar. You see, that is a vicar. Not that he is sitting in or on the seat of God, but a vicar. That's because he's the Son of the God who has not the intentions of coming inside the very planet to tell a people, you know, it's my planet. I want you to, you know, no, not at all. So as far as that God is not in the planet, he's not in the, and has no, in fact, he's not the kind of man that lives inside planets. Then if you not see somebody who is exactly like that God, who will you call that person? who is exactly like that God, genetically as well. Who will you call that person? Okay? So, my point is this, that you have to understand why I am calling a place Holy Land in the first place. To be able to entertain no doubt. Prophet said before now that clarity, that a vision without clarity is blood. Look at that. Today he's still on the matter of blood. You see, he said vision without clarity is blood. B-L-U-R-R-E-D, blood. And that's when he preached what? What he extracted from 1 Corinthians 13. He called it the Holy Land Anthem. Look at that, the Holy Land Anthem. You see, and a certain verse of it that said, if I give my body to be burnt or burned, the prophet said, he said rather what's supposed to be there is, if I deliver my body, okay, they still will deliver. If I deliver my body to be for a reborn, if I deliver my body for a reborn, look at that. But has not this clarity. Oh my goodness. But has not this clarity. Then he stated certain things. You see, which are knowledge, something I'm supposed to have known first that will help me. So the person will be likened to that spirit being that has like delivered himself, not body now or spirit, but that's himself, for a reborn, kind of, or rebirth. I think reborn is better still. But has not squatted 7 times smaller. Oh. Wow. What a prophet. What a prophet. My God and my God. Hey! You see, so like I was saying, you should understand what makes a place, or what can make a place be called Holy Land. Oh, do I have the time to explain all of this? Okay, prophet pointed to certain geographical locations. There were 4 of them. 4 different, but it's still that same Anambra state, okay? And then he said, or within Anambra, maybe a little went the side of Abia, River State. River State, that's when we talk about the physical body of the woman. Then you have that, like places referred to as like River State, you see, Cross River State. I think that area. But then the main is the physical body of the man. That's God gave birth to a man. Not man and woman, a man. It was from the man that the woman came. The spirit being of Mother Eve. Okay? Prophet explained these things. Then when it comes to the land that can be called holy, for instance, God was the person, for instance, that used this word during the time of Moses, as written. That God said to him, remove what you're wearing, for where you are standing is holy. Then, wow, you can see that there are people that are holding onto that, and they walk on barefoot in every country. Anywhere their own has nothing to do with a particular place. They say that once the presence of God is in a place, that is what made that place that. So they will not wear anything to go to, like their auditorium, to go to where they are worshiping the God. You see, because they didn't understand this. Now, so that place, for instance, happened to be that northern Africa side. Okay, the side where Moses had an encounter with this God. There was what happened there also, which the Bible said nothing about. Which the scriptures said nothing, absolutely nothing about. The Bible you have here. Which the prophet was the one that spoke about it. Moses himself got to that very place at the time. And like God told him, prophesy concerning this place. He knew nothing about that. Why? Because he is not a prophet. As in, like the law and the prophet, you see. So the law is different from the prophet. So he was in the similitudes of the body. So he knew nothing about that. What was this place I'm talking about? It has to do with a particular rocky mountain. Okay? Not just rock. Rocky mountain. Mountain that's rocky as well. That has an inner cavity, which became that way because the God of creation cut out the template, a certain template, with which he built what the prophet said that it is called a mannequin. A mannequin, that is, but then the mannequin, you may say, what was that for? That one was for was for something which I will explain now. The God needed to predetermine. I've spoken about adumbrations. So when you understand adumbrations and similitudes, you will not struggle with this. Now, God needed to adumbrate something and then predetermine the size of the physical body of the very man, okay, and the woman, but one can represent the two in this sense. Why? Because they are all of the same size, okay? There's slight differences in anatomy. But this one now has to do with size, not anatomy. That's what has to be determined here. And which was what? Which was, or which is, the size of the very physical body in the fall. So God coupled the physical body of Father Adam and that of Mother Eve full. I mean, the size was perfect according to the size of the God, the very God the Son. That means the God in a pro-substantiated state, which is 60 feet tall. So God gave birth to the Son, his Son, exactly of that size. That one has nothing to do with predetermining anything. Has nothing to do with like God doing, like God having to build anything to predetermine that one size, because it was birth we're talking about here, birth. Okay, so God the Father was looking at God the Son. God the Father was looking at himself when he prosubstantiated from himself, spirit being from spirit being, physical body from physical body. Okay, so because God is self-sufficient, he doesn't require any mirror to see himself. When he wants to see himself, he prosubstantiates from himself, spirit being from spirit being, physical body from physical body. That way he will see himself better than you will see yourself if you look at your mirror. Why? For instance, that very one can turn his back, turn his side, like function as though he's another person, but it's the same God, you see. And that is God the Son. That is the God Son. That's God the Son mode of operation, because he does that not only for that, but can also go to carry out infrastructure, like go into a planet that way to do one work or the other. Why the third person of the Godhead, like they put it happened to be the most Holy Spirit mode of operation. So this way now, this one has to do with the most Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God prosubstantiating, or the God, please, prosubstantiated from himself, spirit being from spirit being only. So this one now has nothing to do with physical body. So when it is that way, then that God, that very spirit being that has prosubstantiated of the same 60 feet tall, okay, the same anatomy, that has shape, not shapeless, now can become many. That is can fully, that has his order of multiplication. So that one that has prosubstantiated already, 3 can come out. That's 1, 2, 3. You see, can come out from that very spirit being. Then again, that 3 that came out, 4 can come out from each. 4, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's, you see, 12. Then also that 12 each can come out from each. And it continues until a certain point. And this was what predetermined the multiplication of the birth, referred to as the order of Melchizedek. The order of Melchizedek arrested the stellar / constellation order did not arrest, which is the beyond that very stellar. There is the few, which is the Son of God, and the 3, Elias, and their model types. That was not captured by the order of the constellation, or stellar / constellation order, because they are above that order. You see, why the order of Melchizedek has to do with a genealogy that captured every birth that is super bio. You see, and that is the one that will not deceive. That is the Father. The Son cannot become stronger or of more quality than his own Father. In terms of like God gave birth to his Son. The Son of God cannot equal the God, his Father. You see. But in the biological, just like John the Baptist, the biological father of John the Baptist, gave birth to, for instance, somebody who is superior to him. So why do I always touch that? Because he was a high priest at that time. But he cannot contend with the very son, John, he gave birth to, in every ramification, you see. Besides, it was still built upon the Aaronic priesthood I spoke about. So please, that aside. Now what I'm trying to say is, the father of John the Baptist. That's biological father of John the Baptist. So John the Baptist is the second Elijah. That's what I mean here. You can see. And the first Elijah did not just fall from heaven. I mean, okay, he still came out into this earth. I mean, came into this earth through the womb of a woman. So, you see, there is the Elijahs of the kingdom. It needs to be explained. It is not just Elijah. There is the order where they belong. Who are they? It is because they are the sons of man, Adam, His Eminence. So that was son of man has a definition. It has an explanation. Okay? If you understand it. So I was talking about what makes a geographical location a holy land. That was what God did. And that thing has to do with the riba that in the hand of the very God, in the hands of God, things appreciate. In the palm, when it's on the palm of the God. That's what you can see that Jesus held had bread, 5 loaves of bread, then 2 fishes. And with that was what was happening. And the people were surprised. In fact, they realized that was a miracle. When they seen that the thing was being broken, and as it was breaking them, does not mean they were being so tiny so that it would go far. But it was of a certain size, and it continued until he fed them, and so on. That is one of the things that happens on the palm of the God of creation. Okay? So the riba in his palm also was that way. So he doesn't have to unplug what is so big. Are you getting it? It was like a fuse unplugged from the physical body of the God Almighty. This is one of the hardest things that God did. I mean, the God of creation did himself. Like when he said, is anything too hard for me? Is anything too hard? Am I correct? Or too difficult, please? Is anything too difficult for me? Because the reason for that too is because there are the ones that are difficult for him. So why? One of them is that one, to unplug a particular part of his body. Because the physical parts of God, the physical as his body is not what you can break away anything from. You see, which was also the reason for words like that, like Jesus when he said, I have the power to lay down my life. That's the way they wrote it. But what he said in the shoes of the Son of God was, I have the power to make my body become mortal. Because the very Immaculate Conception is a mystery, has a mystery divine nature. The physical body that formed in the womb of Mother Eve and came, in the womb of Virgin Mary, that came out and was like, that was out of that womb. Look at it yourself. They said that no human being got her pregnant. They said that the very virgin, the very Mary, was still a virgin. This is enough for you to know that that baby body, what's his physical body, supposed to be different. So why relate to it like it's normal? Like it doesn't need to become, we shouldn't know if it's mortal body or it's not. Why would it even be mortal body in the first place? I mean, it was called Immaculate Conception. What does that mean to you? When you understand the fall, that is to say the fall, what happened? The action of the fall. The fact that there was a strip off of immortality from some people's physical body. There's one male, one female. So what will that one that was not supposed to be a partaker of that nature, what would that look like? Was that supposed to be also mortal? If he's also mortal, he cannot do the work that person came to do. He must stay outside of that. To come as a superior version, then now what will then make him, as in make that law like glued to him and losing from that order? Is one, it has to do with what the things he did. Like the tree that they call the tree of the tree for the knowledge of good and evil. That's what they tagged it. It was him that planted it. He was the God in a pro-subsistence state. And he was the very Jesus, because he's God the Son, that planted that. Then the physical body of the very Father Adam and Mother Eve, who coupled that body. It was the very Jesus that did. That's the God. That's the God that enters into planets. That's the mode of operation of the God that can be referred to as God the Son mode of operation and so on. You can see. And then aside that too, him coming into the earth here, he came through the womb of Virgin Mary. Okay? Very true. Like a baby body. That's a mystery. I mean, in a baby body size. Then grew to a certain point. All right? But then, that started counting when, his ministry. That is what will make the laws here. This one now has to do like the law. That is, this one has to, the one I spoke about has to do with Eden. Where that was committed. Eden. That is the infringement. Why the one I'm talking about now has to do with the earth here. Okay, you see. So when it comes to the earth here, the Son of God was never given birth to in a baby body size. That if you just talk about that Son of God, he came from heaven into the earth here. He was flown into the earth with Mother Eve. Then secondly, his physical body was coupled here, but it was coupled full-grown man body. That's my point, not baby body, and so on. That was why Jesus' preeminence has to start, that when he entered into his shoes, it has to be the size that the physical body of the very person, when the size of the fallen state. So when the strip off of immortality and celestial nature, when it took place, there was a shrinking in size. The Bible did not write that. There was a reduction in size, which was what I told you, the mosaic mannequin. That's the name. The mosaic mannequin that God, it was from it that God predetermined the fall. That's the size in the fall. As God molded that particular mosaic mannequin, 60 feet tall, okay, and then built it in such a way that the God can reduce, can reduce it, you know, like what has spring that can like be reduced, that kind of like 7 times reduction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7th one, or 10 times reduction, you know, and that 10th one becomes 6 feet. So 60 feet tall, then 10 times reduction. I was judging from the squatting of the spirit being. When it's the squatting of the spirit being, that is different. That is 7 times squatting. But that one targets the baby body that is in the womb. But then at the 7th, it's not exactly that way. But then from that time, it's more, is flexible. You can adjust, okay, that size. So my point is this, that the very mosaic mannequin was what God used to predetermine the size of the body in the fall. And then after which the God stretched that back again, which is to say, he also predetermined the transfiguration. That's when you stretch into that 60 feet. So God dragged it also, and it came to that 60 and stopped. That's why I said you have to understand our adumbrations and the very similitudes as well to understand this aspect. And that mosaic mannequin, prophet said also that is in the office, the home office of the very Son of God in Eden. That's one of the things, you know, like people treasure so much, you know, certain things that they will build them theaters for, build as in where they can take this and that into, for people to come and take a look and see some things, okay? You know what I mean? I mean, things that are values to them, that they value so much, and they can build that is what they house, what can house like treasuries, what means so much to them, and also that is traditionally endorsed by that people, something like that. So in the very place called White Throne, in the Revelation chapters, the white thrones that was seen, the main one which was called the Great White Throne, that was the very home office, like house of the Son of God. And that is a place hanging in an airspace of a heaven's world, not outside. That's inside the planet. The house was hanging again. That's a planet hanging on air, 4 square in shape. And then inside the very heaven's world, the tallest, that is when you fly, going high, the highest, when it comes to houses hanging on it, there are just few of them in terms of the Garden of Eden, looking at the Garden of Eden and going from there, not the city. The city has just one hanging on it, which has to do with the patriarch of the very city. So the city is of 12 gates, and that 12 gates of the 12 tribes, and that 12 tribes has the names of the patriarchs of each tribe. So that was what the story God was telling through the sons of Jacob. I mean, the Jacob and his sons, or starting from Abraham, Isaac, then Jacob, then 12 sons. That the mankind is a race that became a race through one person. That there is the Abraham of the very mankind race. And that Abraham of the mankind race is Father Adam. That's the stone the builders rejected. They didn't think, what about the God that coupled that physical body? If that physical body will be faulty, will be a physical body that can be weak, where women are, and so on. All of that we still point to the one that made that body. You see, where they tried writing it, they wrote it as he that mocks the poor mocks the maker. Do you see? But they didn't write it well, because the Son of God is not the poor. Adam is not a poor person. His eminence, I mean Lord Adam. In any way, he is. In fact, when you say the earth is the Lord's, the Lord will refer to there is the Son of God. Is the person that is the. My goodness. I mean, you know, there was a way I felt now just saying that, because the physical what I'm talking about here, that was what was done in the earth that brought the earth. That made the earth an indigene of riba. Why in the fall mankind came here and ate from what this earth will produce, the produce of the earth, and it's fine for the body. All of these things were predetermined. So what I was trying to say was that the very river was what was made out of the very river were 12 most precious stones, and that those 12 most precious stones were also buried. That is to say, please understand this. We were caused to go inside in in 4 different geographical locations, but then each side has 3 buried on them. Each side has 3, okay? So 3 into 4, look, just like there's always the 4 cardinal points when you point to a place, you know? After which they God then unburied them, okay? Not that he buried them and left them there. After which God has brought them out, and this thing I said now did not need or require digging. As the God doing this thing came not in a mortal body state. He came as in God the Son came into the earth. And this is the earth before the fall. You see? So the burying, that is sending the thing downward, has nothing to do with digging. Bringing the thing out of the ground has nothing to do with also digging. And they all traveled 6 feet deeper, as in 6 feet down. That means it was also, again, according to a particular distance. And then also brought out. And there was the reason for that. Now that is what made the entire earth the land of your pilgrimage, where you must come to through the womb of every woman, and it will be fine for you. That is to say, coming is one, another is eating what the earth also produces. Okay, and it will be fine for you. Are you getting it? And then, again, the particular place God did that, the Holy Land, which is to say, that was what God did, that endowed, that is, had a lot that was bestowed upon the very earth, the grounds of the earth, that will bless the earth so much that it will be able to do this thing I said now, from the start of when the fall takes place till the end of the 7th dispensation. So the earth actually has its time to expire. That's this very earth. It was not meant to last forever. And not just this planet, the entire planet, that is the terrestrial as a whole. So it was meant to serve for the procreation, that's becoming many, that has to do with physical body involved for the mankind race. And then the angels were allowed to come and help because of the fact that it is not a small matter. So there are things that people that has the physical body that is, even if death occur to that physical body, that's what comes out will not go to where goes go to. They can reinvent themselves. They can reinvent them. So that's why you can see, for instance, aeroplanes. Prophet explained that. And why aeroplanes succeeded was because angels were involved. Else, to build it, you must test run it. And to test run it, people must be inside. For the people to be inside, if it crashes, they are gone. And then the people that will, before they know all that is required to know, before you be able to build it. Even when you understand it this way, you don't know, you don't see. It's either they that built it will not be the ones to test it. Because each knows a lot that we don't have to trade that for anything. In terms of for the building, that's the building of the airplane to be involved. And then people that will, when someone builds a car, and the person wants to test it for the first time, and the person tells you, come and enter, you will say, no. You have to test it, certify it before you now say, okay, people can buy it. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the people that built it to test it, if they are not angel-turned humans, it would have been it would have been a mess. You see, so when aeroplanes were built, I'm giving an example, there was still, many got crashed. I mean, you know when you say crash, like burnt. And the people inside, gone. But then what happened? It was because they were angels. They were angel-turned humans, please. Okay? So they can reinvent themselves. I've taught these things before now. So I don't have to go into that now. So please, my point is this, that there is what makes a place, a land, a geographical location holy. That was what made that very location where God did that a holy land. While the airspace is another. The airspace of that side was now where God stood, the very God I'm talking about now, to couple the physical body of the very persons in question. The male first, and then the female also. And that place is the center of this earth. So the center of this earth is the place. I don't need any scientist to tell me. God came right on the center of the earth. And that center of the earth is Nigeria, Western Africa. That was where that took place. And that is the reason I'm telling you, who also needs to be expressly immortalized. That under the sacrament of penance, that is to say, the fact that many people, many pure hominids offended the rock, kicked against the rock. You know when you hear that, kicking thrice, like that, or struck, like Moses struck thrice, the place that he would have sat and prophesied if he could, like prophesy what took place there. The reason that place, like the God said that place should bring water out. That kind of, like that rock should bring, that will bring, like he should speak to that rock. That rock will bring water out. Something like that. He rather struck the rock, the very rock, thrice. That was pointing to something. Ouch. Prophet gave an example of Saul that was called the Saul of Tarsus. That kicking against the rock was pointing to the same thing. That striking the rock is the same thing, which is what? Speaking against the Son of God. The Son of God is the principal ancestor of the race, or of the very mankind race. And when you wear mortal body and speak against him, oh, you are just like somebody who has body, that when you kick against something that is indestructible, you dash your feet into pieces. Your feet is not just pointing to the 5 toes on your legs. It is pointing to, like when you say, yes, I'm fit. You see, I'm fit. You know, I'm healthy, I'm fine. You are dashing a lot into pieces. Also, it can represent your ministry. When you feel I have a ministry, and so on, it is dashing that into pieces. You don't go into that, you see. And that also, you can see. So that also remove what you're wearing. Because where you are is holy. Is pointing to 2 things. One has to do with the fact that you must make physical contact with that particular place, as it is so good for you when it comes to you being expressly immortalized. 2, it is also that if you are a prophet, minor prophet, major prophet in the earth, peradventure, there are still prophets that met that ministry of that angel of a church age. It is not who you come to tell what God is saying. As God will not be talking to or showing one prophet or the other, one thing or the other, revealing one to the persons. And again, the same God planned it that the very angel of the church was supposed to be the person that will lead the church. Look at it yourself. The head. Where is the head when it comes to the body? The head is the uppermost part of the body. And it's in the head that you get the mouth. And in the head is where you get the eye. You see? You get the nose that points to the breathing system. I mean, that's the air that goes in, where it goes in, and so on. You can see. So the head of a body supposed to be the leader, supposed to point to the presidency, the one that is leading, the one that's the face of that organization, and so on. Okay? So, and the mouth is one. There is no mouth. It's one mouth on the head. You see? Like I said, when it comes to remove what you're wearing, is that at that juncture, like this is the 7th dispensation, and I am the angel of this church age. And this is telling anybody who feels, why do I mean that feel? The person has reasons to believe that he, as a pure hominid, God reveal one thing or the other to the person. Through the dream, he or she sees this or that, and so on. He's a prophet or a prophetess. I don't have to kick against it now. What that means to you is that you remove what you're wearing. What you're wearing points to that ministry you feel that you received, or you feel that you have, or that you are in. Okay? Anything that has to do with ministry now has expired. I mean, anything that has to do with ministry that is not the very angel of that church that is heading that ministry. All of that has expired. All of that is no longer valid. Every child of the kingdom, every pure hominid, be you this or that, must now listen to that particular angel of the church. That is the person that the most Holy Spirit reveals something to, brings this revelation that can immortalize also people, and also interpretations to the things that were not interpreted in the Bible, and so on. That is what that means. That remove what you're wearing. For what you are standing is holy. For where you are standing is holy. Why the holiness of that place you are standing also is what I have explained to you. You should understand it. It's not just because the presence of God is on that place. The presence of God, how? If he was to be the presence of God, being here and there, God will not tell Moses, remove what you're wearing, for where you're standing is holy. And then, different other places, he didn't say so. You see, so there is the Holy Land. There's the journey to the Holy Land. It is different from journey of your pilgrimage. That's your pilgrimage journey. You are a pilgrim. The place, the land of your pilgrimage is the earth as a whole. And we all came from different sides of the earth. I mean, come into the earth through different sides. God knows about it. But the journey to the land that is referred as the Holy Land, like I told you, it was in, you see that in Daniel 9 verse 24, but it was not written well. That proclamation that was where they wrote that. We prophets said it has to be, that 70 weeks was determined for the proclamation or the declaration of where the Holy Land is in the earth, or in this earth today. Where it is, it was pre-planned. It was something that was divinely timed. That means it is also very important, very, very important that you must do. You must come to that place at least once in your entire lifetime in the earth here, at least once. And when you come, you will remove what you're wearing at a time, attending one of the services. I mean, after attending one of the services, you know. Then there are certain prayers you must say under the sacrament of penance, like I said. You make those confirmations, because there are many things you may have said, there are many things you may have taught as well, that you may not know that is against the Son of God, the Son that God gave birth to, because it was such a story that was not told well at all. Okay? So you must say who the Son of God is with your mouth. You must say who is God the Son, Jesus. That's Jesus Christ's promise, that he is actually the God in an incarnate manifestation who came in the shoes of the Son of God. So that the very Son that God gave birth to is Adam, his eminence. And that clay, mud, sand, name them, is not what God used to make him. He's not a dust being, and so on. Okay? The prophet has continued. Even last service day, he told us, he brought the tray of the prayer. So that amongst what you say is that the Son of God has no mother. The Son that God gave birth to has no mother. M-O-T-H-E-R. Biological or super bio. He has no mother. The seed of the woman in question was put into her by somebody. The very seed of the woman. If you now point to that, and the woman here, that's referring to Mother Eve now, that the seed was put into her by somebody. The woman cannot have the seed without anybody putting the seed into her womb, and so on. And so on, okay? These are very, very essential acts. There are the acts of the apostles. These are essential acts of the heirs of salvation. What they must do. You must be baptized the right way. You must be baptized the right way. Let me tell you, if you are sprinkled water upon as a baby in the Roman Catholic Church, you have not experienced what is called baptism. I mean, you have not done the sacrament called baptism. If you are immersed into water by one pastor this, pastor that, you have not experienced it. There are a few people that are in the position to do so. And the person today is in the earth. There are 7 of them. The angels of church ages are the ones that received the mandate of leading the people from Egypt to the promised land. It has not been achieved. The very first person that made it this way is Enoch, biological son to Jared. The second person was Elijah of Tishbe, express immortalized persons. You see, then Moses truly was. I mean, he's in Eden today. The prophet said that it was Archangel Michael that came and carried the body at the 3rd day after he lay down on that mountain called Moab or Nebo. And that you know this when you read from the book of Jude. It's just one chapter. Else, if you read where they wrote, where they wrote what they wrote there that he died and was buried. Meanwhile, the physical body of Moses was never buried and should never be buried. Why? Because it's in the similitudes. It is in the similitude. There are few people that fit this wise. Another example is Virgin Mary. Virgin Mary's physical body, as in when that body became motionless, must not be put down and covered. Because it's in the same lineage. The same archangel Michael came and carried that body. For which reason there's what they call the assumption of Mary, and so on. So the different and Jordan. That's also how you know why a physical body will be carried by an archangel, and the archangel doesn't need to come out from any door. Apart from the fact that there were a few people that witnessed that, the apostles that witnessed that's when the very Virgin Mary was like, but not seeing the physical body being carried by the very archangel and went up. The same way Moses. Just like in the case of Jesus, there were eyewitnesses that saw that he was going up gradually. Now, in the case of these physical bodies, they were not seen exactly, which was why they wrote the way they wrote it. You can see. But then Jude, who they wrote that he was a half-brother to Jesus, you could have seen why he was able to have that kind of information. That an archangel came, and there was even that he contended with Lucifer. And Lucifer has reasons to come again, as though they were coming for the same thing. And then two of them so no, it belongs to me. The other, or that belongs to me. Why the other one is saying that belongs to him? But they didn't explain that well, which I've explained to you. That a cherub cannot come into a planet like this. So there was a dispute between Lucifer and Archangel Michael, because he also realized that the person that brought Father Adam into this planet, the airplane that did was flown or piloted by Archangel Michael.